Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to Word Wisdom Wednesday. Today's word is sovereignty, because sovereignty is something that I believe is deeply misunderstood in our culture as something that larger bodies have, such as states and governments and organizations. But sovereignty, according to dictionary.com, means supreme power or authority. That's definition one. The other definition is a self-governing state, which I like to take that to mean a self-governing state of being, which means as we embrace our own true and internal nature, we can come to the realization that we can self-govern. And as external systems continue to fall away in our society, day after day after day, there's more things crumbling. I think it's so important for us to realize that we are a self-governing body and can cultivate a self-governing state of being. We are not subjugated by our governments and by our cultures. We agree to this. The external systems, the power they have is an illusory power. And I know that's going to maybe trigger some people who are living in a place right now that's still locked down, or a place that was locked down way before COVID. But the truth is, internally, in your internal state of being, you can be free, and you can be free now. I like to use the example of Viktor Frankl, who was a Holocaust survivor, and comparing that to the actual Nazi soldiers that kept him and others in those concentration camps. If you asked the Nazi captors during the Nuremberg trials, they were shocked and appalled to learn that the rest of the world thought they had some kind of a choice, because for them, they were like, hey, we were just following orders. You know, we're subjects to the larger government. We were just following orders. So they operated under the illusion that they had no personal choice and that they had to follow the government's rules. Viktor Frankl, on the other hand, was captured and stuck in the Holocaust, in the concentration camps. And his famous quote is, "There are two ways to go to the gas chamber, a free man or enslaved." And what he was talking about, the deep truth he was trying to communicate, was that despite whatever's going on in the external world, you have power to choose, always to choose your inner state of being and your inner state of mind. And I'm not saying that this is an easy thing to do. It's difficult, but it is simple. Simple is the opposite of complex. Easy is the opposite of difficult. So this is not a complex thing to understand. It is simple to understand, but sometimes difficult to execute, which is why we need to practice. So here are 4 steps that you can use to practice strengthening your muscle of internal sovereignty, which ultimately will spill out into your external world and fill you with a sense of self-empowerment. Step 1 is to become aware. Become aware of your personal power. If somebody like Viktor Frankl can do it during the Holocaust in a concentration camp in Nazi Germany, then we can certainly do that here today. So number 1, become aware. Become aware of your personal power. Step 2, engage your ability to respond, which means take personal responsibility. We experience our natural state of sovereignty, which is what we're born with. We are all born as natural human beings, not as citizens of certain countries. And as those natural beings, we are born in a state of sovereignty. That's why children scream at you when you try to tell them what to do, because you're violating their sovereignty. And there are other ways to go about that, but we can talk about parenting another time. So when you willingly take personal responsibility for all things in your outer circumstances, all things, not blame, not ownership, but responsibility, you will start to see your sovereignty flourish. Responsibility simply means the ability to respond. So when you break that word apart, then the word responsibility doesn't seem so heavy anymore. It just is indicating that you have an innate ability to respond to situations rather than to react to them, or rather than to be victimized by them, or rather than to feel powerless under them. You have the ability to cultivate in you the manner and the way and the state of being from which you are going to respond to the outside world. So step 1, become aware of your personal power. Step 2, engage your ability to respond by taking personal responsibility for all things in your external world, whether you are the cause of them or to blame for them or not. Step 3 is self-determine your inner state of being. As you take this is sort of interwoven with step 2, but as you take personal responsibility for everything in your outer circumstances, what you are essentially doing is determining for yourself what your inner state of being is going to be in relation to the outer set of circumstances. Is that inner state of being going to be fear? Is it going to be victimhood? Is it going to be a sense of agency and a sense of productivity? There's no right or wrong answer. All choices are valid, but some choices will lead down the road of suffering, and other choices will lead down the road of self-fulfillment and self-empowerment. Those are just spiritual laws. It's not bad or wrong to go one way, but you will lead yourself to a predictable end result, depending on what you choose. That's all. So step 3 is to self-determine your inner state of being. And then step 4 is to live fully and without remorse in your own personal truth, whatever that means for you. I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of what political party or what beliefs about COVID you should hold, because there is no should. Don't should all over yourself. Instead, live fully and without remorse in your personal truth. Own your personal truth. Love yourself and start to buy into and believe in that inner thing in you that resonates sometimes with certain things and is repelled sometimes by certain things. That is your inner bodily compass trying to tell you, yes, this is right for me, or no, this is wrong for me. And regardless of what the outer narratives are and what the outside world is telling us, and that we all have to fall in line with one thing or else other people die, take all that with a grain of salt and instead follow these 4 steps. Become aware, engage your personal responsibility, self-determine your inner state of being, and live fully without remorse in your own truth. That is sovereignty, okay? You are a self-governing body. I love you, humanity. I love you so much, and I trust you. If you want to talk more about this, let's engage in the comments below. You're all sovereign, so you can do what you want. See you next time. Thanks for watching Word Wisdom Wednesday. Bye.